right, we've got Dylan Wookie to talk for the defense, so we'll take questions for Dylan.
Dylan, obviously, this is, probably the biggest game in your, is it the biggest game in your career here?
I would say so, yes.
And just having the #1 team come here, what's that mean for you guys?
It's a huge opportunity. We know what's at stake. I mean, a win here is crucial for what we want in the future. So, I mean, got to seize the opportunity, seize the moment.
You guys preach a lot, this year, leave no doubt. This is probably the easiest way to leave no doubt if you guys beat this team. Is that kind of the approach this week?
Yeah, always leave no doubt. That was our motto from the beginning of the year till now, and it's not going to change. We got to leave no doubt. A win here leaves no doubt, essentially.
Good. All season long, coaches mentioned how you guys haven't necessarily hit your ceiling yet. Like one side of the ball might play better than the other. You haven't necessarily put it together on all three stages all at once for a whole game yet. Is this that opportunity to have what it calls for a performance like that?
Definitely. I mean, if all three phases, special teams, offense, defense, can all connect, play together, we'll be able to do great things this week.
What does it take for that to happen? For the offense to perform at the height that it needs to, the defense to rise to the occasion.
It starts with preparation. I mean, starting Sunday, actually, coming to the film room, watching our opponents, seeing what they like to do, tendencies, all that, picking up on that. And then come game day, just offense, defense, picking each other up. Say defense has a bad drive, offense got to do something great, or defense does something really good, offense got to feed off that, kind of feed off each other.
Arguably, you're facing the best quarterback in this conference, so facing all the other guys leading up to this point, how has that helped you?
We just know, I mean, it doesn't really matter who we face, essentially. It's just like what we do. So if we can get to the quarterback, affect what he sees, what's happening in front of him, I think that will affect his overall performance. So we just got to get after him every play, be relentless.
Coach has said it all year, pressure is a privilege. Do you guys feel pressure with the stakes of this game, or is this what you're here for? Is this the exciting part of college football? Put yourself against the number one.
I mean, there's definitely pressure there, but I feel like we don't really feel it like that. I mean, you got when the pressure's there, we see it as an opportunity, and when the opportunity's there, we got to make the most of it.
What do they do well? I mean, when you watch them on tape, I mean, obviously they do a lot of things.
Yeah.
What do you see and what do you see?
It starts up front. They got a really physical offensive line, experienced offensive line. These guys play together for years. They've done things right, passing ball, running the ball. They change up looks, kind of. So we just got to know, lock in on doing your job, doing your, seeing your key, what you got to do, and just always fly around with the ball. We need 11 has the ball every play.
Is this game special?
I say every game's special. Not one game's too more special than the other. I think they're all special.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll take questions from Mitch.
Mitch, is this your biggest game since you've been?
No, I think one of my biggest games was that North Dakota game. Last year going, first start ever. Going into that trying to win a job, things like that. But for me this year, I mean, this is just another game for me. I prepare the same every week, no matter if we're playing Valpo, we're playing Ohio State. I prepared the exact same. So really, for me, walking into the stadium, this Saturday, it's not going to be any different.
We talked to Dylan and we said, all year coaches said, leave no doubt, leave no doubt. This is probably the for sure opportunity to leave no doubt is to be able to beat the #1 team. You guys, kind of rally around that, especially when it's South Dakota State.
Yeah, I think 100%. We went into the Unidome, speaking leave no doubt when we came out with the shirts and all that, and, we came up short there. But, walking into this week, I think it's more than ever to leave no doubt. The #1 team, in FCS, won 22 straight, and they got to come into our house, this week when the Penguins are rolling right now. So, we're excited to have this opportunity for sure, and we're going to apply some pressure on them for sure because, there's no easy victories, in the Missouri Valley. So they got to come to our house and play us.
Coach had mentioned how you guys haven't necessarily hit the team's ceiling yet. All three phases of the ball, playing at peak potential in one game. What does it take to achieve that kind of a performance?
Yeah, it's going to take us as a brotherhood playing for each other. That's offense playing for the guys on the other side of the ball, like the defense. Playing for the Dylan Woodkeys, the Andreas Lermans, the Alex Howards. It's going to take them, Quincy Letton, making plays for our offense to get back out on the field. Our defense creating turnovers for our offense. Our offense, taking advantage of those turnovers and being opportunistic and going down and scoring touchdowns because number one thing I think is, last week we kicked a lot of field goals, and we can't do that as an offense. We got to get into the red zone. We got to score touchdowns. And I truly believe that, if our offense comes out and plays like we usually do, our defense is going to rally behind it. They're going to shut them down, and our special teams it's superior. I think it's one of the best in the conference, so I already know they're going to show up.
You guys have played some other top defenses throughout the season. You guys faced Ohio State, Southern Illinois, South Dakota. How does the defensive challenge that South Dakota State offers, differ from what you guys have seen this season?
I wouldn't say so much different, but, when you're looking at, their starters on their defense, they're all seniors, all of them. They got one sophomore safety, number one, he's a good player. But what that shows is they've played a lot of football. And a lot of them have played a lot of football together. They've been there for 6 years, building a program, building a culture. So, coming out as an offense, we got to understand that, they're going to force us to try to make mistakes. And, for us to just play our ball game, the ball security, no turnovers, just taking what they give us and, it's just get the next first down. That's all it is. It's just get the next first down. And if we do that as an offense, we're going to be good.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Take questions for Coach?
Doug, I know it's the next game. I know you say all the games are the same, but you got the number one team coming in here, a 23-game winning streak, undefeated. I mean, is it another game?
No, our kids know every game is a big game, so I want you to know that. When, we got off that plane of South Dakota and lost on the last play, we had to really assess, we put ourselves in a hole, losing those 2 games where we either had the lead in the fourth quarter or had the ball in the fourth quarter, knowing we put ourselves in a hole. So every game's been just as important because we had to dig ourselves out, and try to get hard-fought wins. And, I'm proud of our kids because they did that, or this game we wouldn't be talking about. So for us, every game's big, but knowing that it's a number one team, defending national champ, yeah, our kids understand. And for success, it's about preparation, when your preparation meets opportunities. And, we'll have an opportunity this Saturday from a measuring stick standpoint against a program that's been built over time. Great program. They lead every statistical category, probably offensively, defensively, wins in the country. But that's what you work for, as a player, as a coach, for those type of opportunities. So, we hope the Ice Castle can be packed.
You talk to the kids, and you've preached leave no doubt all year. And considering where you're at in the standings and all the teams that are jockeying for these last few positions, has there been a more leave no doubt opportunity than the number one team in the country? Because this would, in essence, I would assume, lock it up.
Yeah, I mean, they look at, I try not to. People, hey, you're ranked. Guess what, guys? There's teams that have more losses in the Missouri Valley than us, and they're still ranked ahead of us. So obviously, we don't get that type of respect, which we don't expect. You got to be able to, beat ranked teams. We beat one ranked team early at home, and those ranked wins mean a lot. It does. Last November 20th, when we're sitting in the room and we're trusting a committee to put you in, well, guess what? You have opportunities each and every Saturday to get those wins. And last year, Week 10 against Missouri State, we didn't, and that was the reason. So, 6 wins, 7 wins, it better be against good opponents. And, right now we're still digging from the hole we put ourselves in, against Northern Iowa and South Dakota earlier in the year. And this game's just as big. And against a ranked team, a team that has I thought was a 22 game. Are you giving them an extra? I thought it was a 22 game win streak, but it might be 23. I thought is it 23? 23? Yeah. And you know how hard it is to win college football games. So to win 23, there's a reason, but again, this is what you work for. Not many of these opportunities come to you. And so you just got to make the most of it.
Is it harder this year in particular because you're in a race with a couple of North Dakota teams that you didn't even just from a scheduling standpoint have an opportunity to put yourself against?
Yeah, you don't, but I guess that Ohio State loss really hurt us, So, for us, that's how it is. can't change that. All I can do is focus on what we can control. And we got to make sure that we prepare our kids thoroughly, for Saturday at 12:02 in the Ice Castle, and make sure our kids are ready to play fundamentally disciplined football, because we're playing against the best, and they're very well fundamentals, very well disciplined, and you cannot make mistakes against this opponent.
But they have a new staff. I know that hasn't changed much. You didn't play them last year, so you've done that year without playing them. Does that come into play at all?
No. Coach Rogers done a great job. He helped build that program. He played there. He was their defensive coordinator. They got the best defense in the country. So he helped build that program, and it took Coach Stiegelmeyer 20-some years to win that national championship, and he did it the right way. Stepped away, got that national championship, and left it in good hands with a guy that believes in South Dakota State, played for him, has coached there. So they haven't missed a beat, from what, they were when we played them 2 years ago. But we tried to in the spring. There was two games, before a scrimmage. We would watch South Dakota State, the UNI South Dakota State, a quarter each Saturday before we went on the field in scrimmage, because we knew those two teams we didn't get to see during the season. So, we tried to gain as much familiarity. Our kids have forgotten that, though, going through a season. But in the spring, we tried to watch those games and see and prepare ourselves for, because we didn't get to play them last year.
I mean, they got Gronowski, Yankees, there's 3 of many.
You don't want me to sleep tonight, too, huh, Dan? No, they do. I mean, when I put up their, we do our introduction to South Dakota State, and, I'll usually put up 3 players. I think I could put up their whole defense, because either they're all league players or all Americans. Offensively, their quarterback, their tailback's best in the conference, the Janke brothers. They got 10 6-year football players playing on that team, so they're very experienced. Then you add up the games. Just add up their games. The last 3 seasons, take the spring season when they played in the national championship, take the next season, take the next season. They've played over 40-some games in 3 years. And you get better with practice. So we always talk about spring ball. Well, you make the playoffs and play an extra 5 weeks, 6 weeks, all of a sudden now those games, you're not only getting your scout team better, you're developing your younger players, you're developing those players playing together. So they've played a lot of football, and it shows up on film. You watch them. I took we looked at their explosive runs against them. I think we only found 6. And explosive runs are 12-plus run plays. So again, they bend, don't break, play solid defense, and that's the reason they're number 1 in the country.
What's the message you want to give the fans to come out here and support this team on a 3-game win streak? Last game of the regular season here at home.
Yeah, I tell my kids always say, Coach, we got to get fans. I say, gosh, I got to focus in on, making sure our team is ready and prepared. And, we want to put a team on that field that this community is proud of, that they want to come out and support, knowing the ramifications of this game, playing the best team in the country is great entertainment. And, I'm proud of our kids. We represent the Valley, and I certainly would love to see a packed house. I told our kids this morning, South Dakota State's been building this over time, and they talked about, last week they had the biggest crowd in the history of South Dakota State, 19,000 people that watched them play North Dakota State. So it takes time. We got to earn the trust of the community. We got to put a great product on the field. We got to continue to win games. Those things that people get excited, because in the social media realm that we've created, they can carry their phone anywhere and watch the game anywhere they want to be. So, it's a little bit different. And we got to do maybe some things different just to get people here and in these, because our kids do feel, student section. I know, we saying myself in football purchased 250, shirts to give to the first 250 students that come to the game. And Mr. Reuter matched us and bought 250. So there's 500 T-shirts. We'll do anything. Would love to see a great student section behind their bench. And again, they're going to see a great team playing, and they're going to see a great team in us too.
Doug, you mentioned kind of all season about how you haven't necessarily seen your team hit their potential, hit their peak yet. We haven't seen the offense at its peak in one game with the defense like that at the same time. You know, what does it take in order to pull out a performance like that where you're just everywhere, you're hitting it on all?
I mean, that's teaching. That's us, and we go over it, nonstop, constantly, of putting all three phases of the game together. And I don't believe we've seen it yet. We're still in that process. It's senior week. And one thing we do with our seniors, and we have some kids that have an extra year but we put them through senior day, so in December they can decide, hey, I might want to come back or whatever. But when we talk about that, these seniors have been through, a lot of them have been through a 1-6 spring season, that COVID, and been through a 3-7, been through a 7-4 where they didn't make the playoffs. So, for us, it's a chance for them to bring their families in and celebrate, because to be here, it takes support of your family. But we're constantly teaching those guys, the time is now. It's the second week of November. We got to play our best football in November. And that means offensively, defensively, and special teams where we're complementary football. If our defense gets a stop, offense got to get first downs. Offense scores, our defense got to get a stop. Our special teams got to win the field position battle. Those are things we constantly work on a Tuesday practice, in our meetings. So, are we there yet? No. But I do believe our kids can do it, And when we see that, you're going to see a complete different team on that field.
So if you're very explosive as you guys are, is this a ball control game? I mean, is this a game where you go back to what you did against Ohio State, huddle up, kind of work that clock a little bit, or,
Ohio State was just, we huddled mainly because of the atmosphere and things, but, our time of possession has gone. That's just who we are, in our normal offense, whether we huddle or don't huddle. Just time of possession has been, key for us. Time of possession is important, but scoring points is more important than time of possession. And, for us to go into game plan is to play clean. I think Mitch said it best. You watch these games, well, guess what? If you go in there and have 4 turnovers in the first half like you and I did, you're putting yourself in the hole. I've never seen a defense that have 14 interceptions. They have more tipped interceptions than any team I've ever seen. So those kids, they're ball hawks. Their eyes are on the quarterback. That ball's in the air. They're getting a hand on it. That ball gets tipped. They're recovering it. And that's their MO, is to create that, to get those turnovers, and they do a great job there. So for us, it's about taking care of the football. The explosives, the explosives come. Sometimes you don't realize when they do come. A receiver makes a great catch downfield and gives you explosive, the momentum of the game, or a big run, maybe a miss run fit. They don't miss run fit very often. And that's why you see limited explosives. But you got to be patient. Meaning, if you're getting 4 yards, you're getting 5 yards, guess what? Get the 4 yards, get the 5 yards, and try to move the chains on them. Coach Dresser always said the best offense, one that takes care of the defense, and as much as you can take the defense off the field, I think is always a success.
You've seen every team, you haven't played every team, but you've seen every team. They have a 3-game lead in the conference. Are they here and then everybody else kind of in the middle?
Yeah, when you can win that many games consecutive, yes, we're all chasing them. And there was a time where they were chasing the top team. They were chasing to be better than North Dakota State. How you do that? They've done a great job recruiting. Their facilities are phenomenal. You probably were back there when they weren't. So they've really built a program through recruiting, developing, getting a great fan base, and then eventually you got to beat those teams. And I think I heard them say, I don't know how many times in a row now they've beaten North Dakota State. I thought their players said it was the 4th time or something in the last 2 or 3 years. So eventually you got to take that jump up. This program, we've won games. I don't know if we've ever made that huge jump that you got to beat a blue blood. Beat the North Dakota States, beat the South Dakota States. And that's what we're working every day. And it's a work in progress, but I have faith that we're getting closer and that our kids, I believe in our kids. I believe in that locker room. What I would like to see is them put it all together on this given Saturday, knowing what's on the line. And when we say leave no doubt, well, guess what? We get an opportunity on Saturday to leave no doubt.